Daredevil has ended, and I feel fine. Good? I'll say lukewarm. The final issue of Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil run just came out this past August, ending his 4-year tenure working on the series. It's a bittersweet feeling seeing this series come to a close, but more on the sweet side because this ending is really good. Daredevil is my favorite superhero, not just in Marvel, but he's just my favorite superhero in general. I'll preface by saying I haven't read every notable run of Daredevil, but this final issue does feel like a satisfying end to Daredevil. Not just an end to Zdarsky's run, but as a bookend to the overall Daredevil narrative. I don't see a reason to read future Daredevil stories because of how conclusive of an end this is for Matt, Elektra, Foggy, and just the city of Hell's Kitchen as a whole. Daredevil, unlike most superheroes, gives writers and artists the freedom to tell stories they want to. Despite the freedom, Matt is definitely not a stranger of seeing repeated character stories, cycles if you will. See, Matt in many different runs will question his Catholic faith, try and stop Kingpin once and for all, team up with Elektra to stop the impending doom that is the Hand, and question if Daredevil is any good for Hell's Kitchen. This run really plays with the idea that Matt has been through the cycle multiple times and is aware of it, and he acknowledges the repetition in his life, which gives off a Daredevil that is more grizzled and aged. Daredevil in this run is really trying to tackle his problems in different angles to try and end his cycles. He tries to ask himself, like, how can I help Hell's Kitchen without being Daredevil? Can I truly embody my faith into my superhero role? The most important question being, can I break free? Break free from the endless cycle. I'll refrain from talking about the entire run as a whole, as I'd like to dedicate a video to Zdarsky's run. Also, I don't want to sit down and read 40 freaking issues. But for the very basic context needed to understand the ending, Matt... Oh, spoilers, like right after this warning right here, spoilers will occur. Where was I? Oh yeah, Matt is dead. He travels into the depths of hell to save his best friend, Foggy Nelson, who had been dead without Matt even being aware for a while. Don't worry about it. In his selfless attempt to bring Foggy back from his untimely death, Matt succeeds, but he is left behind in hell. Ooh, transition! This issue opens 6 months after the death of Matt Murdock, and we revisit the many familiar faces that Matt had met throughout this journey. Now in the perspective of Foggy Nelson and Officer North. Officer? I don't know. We follow them as they do all they can to help people. Everyone is aware that Matt is dead, and yet the people closest to him are still plagued by his ghost. Foggy feels guilt and anguish, and in that pain pushes himself more in his job as a lawyer to help more people, like Matt would have. Foggy helps the people of Hell's Kitchen through the law, like Matt Murdock. But what about the other side? Who is protecting Hell's Kitchen when the law isn't enough? We cut to Daredevil, doing Daredevil things, beating up weapon dealers, ruling over criminals with fear, like Matt would have. Elektra is a character that could have an entire video dedicated to her. I just simply want to mention how effective she is as Daredevil. She's more agile and skilled compared to Matt, and has the freedom to solely act as Daredevil, because she's neither a lawyer or a morally compromised Catholic. She's also rich. Elektra, after talking to Richard Fisk about the crimes in Hell's Kitchen, is seen sitting on a rooftop alone. Elektra and Matt in this run had tied the knot in some sort of weird ninja tradition, which I don't know how official that is, but were shown to have true love for one another. Like in many Daredevil stories, Elektra began this run as someone with conflicting morals, but Matt saw the good in her and gave her an ultimatum of either being good or bad. One of the few progressions seen in this run is Elektra becoming Daredevil, disproving her endless cycle. Elektra, like Foggy from earlier, is haunted by the ghost of Matt. This time though, Elektra decides to walk over to a cathedral, the same one Matt used to attend. Elektra is greeted by the priest, a blind man with sunglasses and ginger hair. It's Matt Murdock. It seems that he's a completely new person, reborn free from the shackles of his past. Elektra, despite wanting nothing more than to be with the man she loves, chooses the selfless act of leading him to be what he always wanted to be. Like in No Way Home, oh my god. Matt comments on the scent of Elektra, calling back to the time they first met, before Elektra leaves Matt for the last time. Sometime later, Matt is on his way back home. The smell of Elektra, more so the memory of it, still lingering through his thoughts. On his way back, Matt hears someone screaming for help. Before Matt is able to even evaluate and think, he is overwhelmed by the sounds around him, a voice in the midst calling out to him, trying to stop Matt from throwing everything away so easily. Matt doesn't listen to the voice and heads straight in towards the danger before the comic book comes to a close.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
The conclusion of the story doesn't answer the question of, will the cycle ever end? As it both shows a progression in Hell's Kitchen, but also Matt is pulled back into the role of Daredevil once again for future Daredevil stories. It's everything I would want to see in the end of a Daredevil story. But then why does Matt become Daredevil again? Is he destined to be Daredevil forever? Yeah, no. In this run, we are introduced to Matt's guardian angel, Goldie. And from context, he is the one that gives Matt his new life. A life that he thinks Matt wants. Matt, despite being much more cheery, says to Elektra that he isn't quite happy, but more content with his life in the church. Matt, despite Goldie's warnings, decides to rush into the alley where he'll play Daredevil again. Not because he was dragged into a cycle. No, he chooses to go instead. See, Matt was given this life in the church, free from Daredevil by someone else. And him becoming Daredevil again is his way of rebelling from that higher being, breaking free of that predetermined fate. Though the run makes Daredevil out to be the endless cycle, the series ends by saying Daredevil is Matt's way of breaking free, justifying a reason for Matt to be Daredevil till the very end. And on that note, the story comes full circle. From why do I even bother being Daredevil, and finding short-term justifications throughout, but in the end, showing the truth. Matt wants to be Daredevil. Matt likes to be Daredevil. He wants to be Daredevil to help people, but also to be happy. And as we finish up our time with this series on a happy note, I say, what a great ending. Though there is more to occur in the story, this is, however, where I say my farewells to the series. All I've got left to say is, thank you, Chip Zdarsky, and goodbye, Daredevil.